Here we go, episode 7, When the World Stopped, Parenting and the Pandemic. We are going to be discussing a topic today that is so near and dear to our hearts, having babies during the COVID pandemic. We are all too familiar with this topic.
Yes.
Welcome back, and if this is your first time, I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Matt.
And we're your hosts of the Vows, Vibes, and Virtues podcast. So before we start today's episode, you might have noticed that we are clearly not home. We don't have any guests, and we have this beautiful backdrop.
Yes.
So
we're not at a wedding, even though it looks like we're at a wedding.
I promise no one's getting married today.
At least not that we know.
Right. But no, we're actually back home, as I referred to, not physically home. This is back home where I grew up. My grandparents live here. And so do all of my aunts. Most of my aunts live here. Extended family. So we are actually home for the 4th of July. Today is July 5th as we're recording this episode. And it's actually a really funny story because we had booked this motel in a small town about 15-ish minutes from here.
Yeah.
Because where we typically stay, everything is completely booked up. I'm telling all of my tias that, we've got this motel, it's going to be fine, and every single one of my tias is like, oh no, you cannot stay there. Like, absolutely not. So I'm freaking out. Like, what do you mean? What's wrong with where we're staying? So
yeah, we went and checked it out, and it was, they were correct. It was not a good place to stay. So we immediately searched up other hotels and actually got on Airbnb, and then we found this place. Let me tell you, this is an amazing place. It's got
gorgeous
a pond, and it's got an overhang balcony back here. There's fire pits and all kinds of cool stuff. Definitely glad that we found this place and are able to stay here. So
it was a blessing. For sure. I guess we should jump into today's episode. So back in 2019, it was towards the end of the year when we found out about 2.5 years of us trying to get pregnant.
Yes.
We were unsuccessful and we were kind of just losing hope. And it never fails. Like, as soon as you give something up, out of sight, out of mind, bam, it happens. I vividly remember taking the here's what happened. Matt asked me, didn't you ask me, have you taken a pregnancy test? Or how did it happen? Leading up to.
You were late on your period, which was not uncommon because you have PCOS.
Yeah, so very irregular.
And you had just ended taking Femera again, and you were just wanting to make sure. I was like, hey, maybe you should just take a pregnancy test just to see. It came back negative, and then a couple of days later, you got up early
on my own
at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I just remember her screaming. And
I couldn't believe it. Like, this has to happen. I
shot up out of bed, and I was like, what's going on? What's going on? I'm like freaking out, thinking something's wrong. And she's like, I'm pregnant. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Like, I peed on a lot of sticks, and they were all negative. So when it finally happened, I could not believe it.
She took like 20 more that morning.
So after the first one was positive, he bolted down to Walmart and got like 10 different pregnancy tests. I peed on all of them, and they all
didn't pee on them.
Well, they all came back positive.
We got you guys a gift. Yep. For you and Dad. Hold on. Now, get them talking then. Oh, you forgot? That's okay. It's not till next weekend. Yeah. Wait. There's more. See, we're trying to get it. We just found out Wednesday. For the new house.
Oh my God. It's hard to keep that a secret. I don't know how you guys did it. So are you here for work-related stuff too? No, I just came up. We're off today for Columbus Day. And I'm just off for, I'm just here for the afternoon.
Okay, so you're going to start at the top. Okay, so open that little box.
Yeah.
Yes.
No! No! I'm so sorry.
Are you kidding me?
Look, you keep going, there's more. There's more. There's more. There's more. There's more.
Here, can you guys show the camera? Baby dented in June. Hi, Grandpa.
Quickly, we made our doctor's appointment. And before we knew it, they confirmed HCG,
human growth hormone.
yeah, the HCG,
GC.
HGC was kept multiplying rapidly. So once by the time we had our first sonogram,
We got another little shock.
So we're sitting there doing our sonogram, and the technician, she is just quiet as a mouse. So I'm laying there, gel on the belly. Matt and I are looking up at the screen, and we're kind of like, are we seeing what we think that we're seeing? Like, vividly remember 2 circles on the screen, and we look at each other, and she's not saying a word.
She's like, we're like, is that 2 sacks? And she's like, the doctor will be in to go over that with you soon. So
they pull us back, and doctor confirms, yes, in fact, we're having twins. And I vividly remember calling our families. So we called my parents first, and I said, okay, are you sitting down? And telling them we're having twins. And then we did the same thing with your parents, and it was just a whirlwind of excitement. Now, at this time, so this is 2019, so the pandemic hadn't actually hit yet.
Right.
Because this was October of 2019.
Right. It was you were just starting to hear about cases in other countries and, a couple here in the United States, but it really wasn't a thing until towards the end of the year. But we didn't really notice any direct effects until about her third trimester. That's when the hospital that she was going to, which is where her OBGYN was located, put in some restrictions. And although I had to drive her to these hospital visits because she could no longer drive because she's very short in stature and she was getting very wide and it was very uncomfortable. We started feeling the effects of the COVID pandemic about the 3rd trimester when we started going to her OB-GYN's office which was located in the hospital, and they put a bunch of restrictions in place. I could no longer go in with her. She had to go in, waddle her way inside.
Like literally waddling into the doctor's office.
And I would have to sit in the car and just wait there for an hour or so until she was done. And at this point, because she was having twins, we were going every week either to the OB's office or
we had to see a specialist because I was high risk.
And getting weekly sonograms, check growth rate, and making sure that they were
developing
and developing.
So you can imagine, you know, one, this is my very first pregnancy. So this is a brand new experience for me. Two, I'm going into these appointments with the anticipation that my husband is going to be by my side. And when he wasn't able to, and then on top of that, like you slowly start to see the hospitals and the doctor's offices becoming more and more scarce, less and less people. It's very eerie. It was very terrifying. Not at all how I imagined.
Yeah, I remember at the hospital inside the big lobby, which is normally pretty empty. They just have a bunch of photos and like pictures of employees that are up on the wall and stuff like that. During that time, they had a bunch of makeshift tents up and checkpoints and security, and it was crazy. It really was very different back then. And it was at your last OB's appointment that, you know, the doctor was checking you out and he saw that you had spiked in your blood pressure and some other issues. So he decided to keep you in the hospital overnight on a preeclampsia check for 48 hours. So I had to rush back home and get your overnight bag and put a couple things in there for me, and then come back to the hospital, go through like 37 checkpoints to check my temperature and get up to the labor and delivery ward. And then we stayed the night there. So they would come in periodically every hour or two and check on her heart rate and check on the fetal heart rate. So they put these big bands across her belly and check both of the baby's heartbeats. And everything was going pretty fine until the next morning. A team of nurses came in to check the heart rates, and they found baby B's heart rate, Lana, but they could not find Wade's. And they called a couple more people in, and they still couldn't find it. And they're like, okay, we got to go right now. So
talk about an intense moment.
Yeah, they rushed her out of the room and into the OR, and I could not go in with you. They were like, no, this is an emergency C-section. You're going to have to wait outside.
Well, and I remember too, as you know, more and more nurses were coming into the room at that moment, just like the fear of like, oh my gosh, something's wrong. What's going to happen? And it happened in a span of like a couple of minutes where they're like, nope, we're prepping OR, da-da-da. And so the anesthesiologist, he literally rushes into the room and he's explaining what's about to happen. I'm going to start counting down. We're going to get the babies out, da-da-da. And I remember squeezing that man's hand for dear life. I said, I am so scared. Please do not let go of my hand because I've never done this before. My husband's not with me. I remember telling him, I said, my husband's not with me and I don't want to be alone. He says, and he told me, I'm not going to let go of your hand until you're asleep. And I said, okay. They wheel me off. And I remember how cold, like the OR, if you've never been in the OR, like it is so cold. So I start shivering and they have me start counting back. And I honestly think I only made it to 9. And before I know it, best sleep of my life. Worst moment of Matt's life. So tell us a little bit more about that experience for you.
Oh yeah, so she got to be knocked out with some anesthesia and got to take a little nap for a little while. However, I got rushed, well, not so much rushed. I got abandoned in the room, and then the nurses came in and escorted me out to the waiting area, and the waiting area was completely empty. There was nobody there. I had to call her parents. I had to call my family and tell them what was going on. They were trying to reassure me because I was silently panicking because I didn't know what was going on. All I knew was there was an issue with Wade's heartbeat, and I couldn't go into the OR with her, and I was stressed out, and I didn't know what to do. And so I just sat there in the waiting room, and one of the nurses that was down the hallway at one of the COVID checkpoints, she actually got a cup of coffee and brought it over to me and just sat with me for a little bit because she could tell that it was a pretty difficult time for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know, what seemed like an eternity. It was probably not that long, but it felt like forever. The staff came out and told me that everything was okay, that Wade had to be resuscitated, but he bounced back really fast when they pulled him out. They just had to give him a little air, and he was fine, and Lana was good, and Mom was in recovery. Babies were in the NICU, and that's when everything just went into like warp speed because I had to go in and check on her, and I had to go in. Actually, first I couldn't even check on her because she was still just right out of recovery. So I ran down to the NICU, which was at the complete other end of the hospital. Got to the entrance to the NICU, had to go through a COVID checkpoint in the NICU, even though I was
the same COVID checkpoint that you had been through multiple times.
Well, that was the first time I went through in the NICU. But yeah, I go through that NICU and go in and check on the babies, and I get to see them, and I took a few photos of them just laying there, and they were so small. They were only like 3.5 pounds, but they were beautiful, and I snapped those photos, and I was like, okay, I'll be right back. And so I rushed out of there, and I ran back over to the recovery ward because now I could get in to see Alyssa. I had to go through another checkpoint, temperature check at the recovery ward to get in to see Alyssa. Get in there, and she is completely out of it because they'd given her morphine and anesthesia, and she was just repeating herself. And
I remember saying, where's my babies? Where's my babies?
And I kept telling her, they're okay. I've seen them. I've got photos. Like, here, look at these photos. You just need to chill out for a little bit, and we'll get you back there to see them as soon as you recover a little bit. And then she would ask me the same question like 5 seconds later. And then the staff brought in a bunch of paperwork for me to sign, or for us to sign. But she was not able to even comprehend anything that was going on.
So you had to act pretty quickly signing all of the paperwork because I was of no use.
Yeah, so I had to sign the information for the NICU. I had to decide whether I wanted the Angel camera system to be turned on, and I didn't even know or understand what that was, but turns out definitely wanted it because it allowed us to log in from outside to
monitor the babies, essentially.
To monitor the babies, but it also asked me who I wanted to give access to, and I was like, I don't even know. So I couldn't ask her because she couldn't comprehend anything. She was out, and I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to put mine, Alyssa's, my dad's, and her dad's. That's all. That's the only people that's getting access. And anybody else can view off of our phones or something. I don't know. But I did that, left Alyssa for a little bit because she just kind of passed out again, went to sleep. So I ran back over to the NICU. At this point, I had like probably 20,000 steps. You know, I ran like 5 miles around
and again, on
hospital.
Opposite ends of the hospital.
One wing of the hospital to the other wing. And I get over to the NICU, and they're checking my temperature. Oh, it's a little high. And I'm like, yeah, that's because I've been running laps up and down these hallways all day. And they're like, yeah, you're fine. And I was like, plus, you literally just saw me like 30 minutes ago. And they let me through, which is fine. And at this point, they had the kids, on breathing machines because of how young they were. They both had to have ventilators for the first couple days. And
because, again, I had delivered at 33 weeks, so very early. And the goal mark point for twins or delivery with twins was 36, 37. So I was very early.
The goal was to get to 37 weeks. But we were well short of that. So they had to be on ventilators for a while. They had to have feeding tubes for a little while. It was very tough. And then about the second day in, after the babies were born.
Hold on. I want to back up because you talked about what you were experiencing, and then amidst that, I'm starting to come to off of the anesthesia, off of the morphine, which, again, I had never been put under before. And I now know, like, I can never do morphine again because it literally, my mood, I was so angry. My skin felt like I was on fire. These are all reactions that I'm experiencing, and for the very first time, and it was very overwhelming. And I remember vividly, like, I'm in panic mode because before I went under, I had these 2 babies that were safe in this bubble inside of my belly. And then all of a sudden they're gone. And all I wanted as a mama is like, I told Matt, I need to see my babies. Yeah. And I was just getting more and more angry because no one was taking me to them, but they would not allow me.
Let her leave until her blood pressure came down far enough. And unfortunately, it was just a negative feedback loop because she was angry because she couldn't see the kids, which made her blood pressure go up. And it wasn't until really all of the effects of the morphine wore off, and then I had to spend quite a bit of time talking you down for a while. And finally, your blood pressure got to the point where they're like, okay, we can now move you over to the maternity ward, and you can go see the kids.
Yeah.
And that really helped because then she was able to actually
calm down,
see the babies, and calm down and breathe,
regulate that blood pressure where it needed to be.
Yeah. And your recovery went really well after the C-section. I think you were up and about pretty quick.
Well, I was so in survival mode. Like in all honesty, I didn't have time to process the pain from the incision. I didn't have time to process the pain from trying to go to the bathroom because I was so laser focused on getting to the twins. So none of this was normal. Like I didn't get to deal with or process anything in any type of normal sense. So
it was very traumatizing.
Yeah.
Not your typical labor.
I remember So I remember being in recovery. And so what was it? Was it 24 or 36 hours after delivery?
It was 2 days later, or a day and a half later.
Day and a half.
They noticed that Lana was getting sick. Like, she was turning pretty pale, and she had a bunch of veins showing, and she was starting to be bloated in her abdomen. And that's when they started doing a bunch of tests, and they found that she had something called volvulus malrotation, which was
her intestines
were basically knotted, and they had to take her in for emergency surgery.
Well, they had to prep us for the conversation before going into surgery and talk about.
Oh, they didn't really give us an option, but
prepping us for worst case scenario. I think we were prepared, or we were not prepared, but we were basically thrown into, again, survival mode. We're running on fumes, and mind you, like we're experiencing all of these scary moments completely alone. Like, our family is not there. And so for the doctor to tell you we're rushing your daughter back and there is a chance that she's not going to make it out, it was heartbreaking. It was
our support system was
not there. They couldn't be. They were there.
Not because they didn't want to, but because
they physically
couldn't be there. They would have been there. Yeah.
And so
they took her back for surgery, and that was the first day. The next day they had to take her back in for a second surgery because they didn't get all of it out the first time.
So the procedure that they did for Sis, they slowly started to remove part of her intestines, and because they wanted to be very careful not to remove too much. And the idea was after each surgery, they left part of her intestine outside of her so that we could make sure it was pink and viable.
Stoma that was outside of her stomach that was left open, and after the two surgeries, the plan was to let her grow for a while until her intestines grew enough to where they could reattach it together, and then hopefully everything would turn out well. And that was very difficult to hear. It was very difficult to see her the first time after that surgery because there's our brand new baby girl and she's got this huge gape on her stomach and
all of 3 pounds. Like
she was tiny and she had all these tubes and everything. I mean, the drugs that she had to have, like I remember they gave her fentanyl for the pain and they had given her all kinds of stuff that babies should not be exposed to. But if it hadn't been for, if it hadn't been for those doctors, she wouldn't be here today.
Absolutely.
And they did an amazing job.
And it wasn't just the doctors. It was the immense support that we received, the prayers, the calls, and like we felt all of that. And
I know God had his hand on that situation.
Well, I remember us praying, like, God, please protect our little girl. Like, she's in your hands. Like, we were so helpless. Like, there was absolutely nothing that we could do besides pray. That's all we could do. So
I prayed a lot, put my hands on Lana and prayed for her.
Yeah, it was.
And at the time, we were not involved in a faith community very well. We would go to, there was a church near our apartment that we were living at the time. We would go occasionally, but we were not active members of that church. We didn't have a close group of friends that were involved with that. We did have close friends, and we still do.
Yep.
And
family, of course, our family.
We had our family, and we knew our family was praying for us, but we didn't have that tight community from the church that could have also helped to support us. And
not just the community.
We didn't also have
the relationship with God that we do today.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't nearly where it is today. Even though at the time I was constantly praying, the relationship had lacked. And unfortunately, after that, it wasn't until several years later that we really did get a relationship on the right track with Jesus. And I'm very grateful for all of those doctors and nurses that worked there. And I'm grateful that God definitely had his hand on us in this situation. And it was a very difficult time.
It was. And it wasn't just, I remember too, like the hospital was amazing. And it wasn't just the doctors, it wasn't just the nurses, but I remember even the workers that would bring my food on my trays of food. Like everyone was just was such a blessing in such a difficult time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, honestly, I think after Lana's first surgery and her making it through, that I would say maybe day 4, day 5 after she's recovering, you and I finally get a moment to step back and say, oh my gosh, what just happened? And that's really when it hit personally, when it hit me that my mom wasn't there. Our family wasn't there. Just COVID ruined all of that experience for me. And in a time where we needed our family, we needed our friends physically there, it was taken away.
Yeah.
And, you know, thank God that we had the friends and family like that I remember vividly them coming to the parking lot to give us hugs, give us support, give us food, because we didn't know how long we were going to be in the NICU for.
Yeah. So. I mean, even after surgery, the restrictions were pretty crazy because we would go to visit our kids, and they were both, for that first month, they were both in the NICU, and we could only visit one child at a
one parent per one child.
Yeah, one parent per one child. So when they were both in the NICU, it was fine because she would sign in to see Wade, I would sign in to see Lana, and then during the visit, obviously, we would swap babies, but we could only be in there for one child at a time. So after that first month,
stupid because we were living in the same house.
Home, we could no longer visit Lana at the same time. So she would sign in, go and see Lana for an hour, and then I would sign in and go see Lana for an hour. And it was stupid. Like, we're both going in there. We're both going to see our child. Why can't we both be in there?
We were coming from the same household. Like, make that make sense?
Yeah. I understand it was protocol, and there was a lot of things we didn't understand about COVID, and they were trying to do their best to protect the children. And I totally get all of that. It just sucked for us.
Yeah.
And during those first 4 months where Lana was in the NICU, we had Wade at home, and we would be constantly getting up to feed Wade, and then checking on Lana on the Angel Cam, and then driving to the NICU to check on Lana, and then coming home, and then taking care of Wade. And luckily her grandma lives with us and lived with us at the time, and totally helped us out with watching Wade while we would run to the hospital to check on Lana. But every single day for those first
4.5 months.
Yeah. At least the first 2 weeks after Lana's first surgery, I felt like at any time a phone call could come in and we were going to get told that Lana didn't make it. And it was just difficult. Every day going through that, just waiting for that phone call, praying it didn't come, praying that she was okay, that she would pull through. And she did. She came home after 4.5 months, and things were okay, but you could tell that she definitely had some emotional cues that were missing from the time that she spent in the NICU. She was on a great feeding schedule because in the NICU they trained her to feed every 3 hours, I think.
Yeah.
And so that was great. Wade was not on any type of feeding schedule because somebody couldn't get him on a schedule.
Well, I mean, but it was also hard to, like, we were just back and forth, home, like, it was hard to establish any kind of routine in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
Good morning. Today is Friday, August 21st, 2020, and I'm sitting here in the parking lot for hopefully the very last time, and I'm bringing home my little girl who's been here in the NICU for 4 months. And I've got all the emotions going through me. I didn't sleep at all last night because I'm just so excited. We can't wait to get her home. So stay tuned for this crazy journey.
I have made this walk every single day for 4 months through those doors to the hospital. And today, Lana, is the last day. You are coming home. I'm so ready. Good morning, sweetheart. Good morning. Today's the day, isn't it, honey? I'm gonna show them a tour of your room. Gotta get a tour of your room, babe.
Just got the green light from Dr. Tedeschi. Yeah. We're ready to go home, aren't we, baby? We're ready to go home, aren't we? Yeah. My sweet girl. We've been here for 4 months. Now's the time. We're ready, aren't we? Yes. Who's that pretty baby? Who's that pretty baby? Yes, you are. Hi, baby. Today is Friday, August 21st. And you're going home, huh? Are you going home? Yeah. Yeah. Say, we're ready to go. So I've been here for 4 months. It's time. Yeah. Say, we're ready. Yeah. Who's that pretty girl? Who's that pretty girl?
But Lana came home. She was on a good schedule. We were kind of able to get Wade on that same schedule finally because of her. However, she had some emotional cues that were definitely lacking because she would cry a lot. Obviously, she was a baby, but cry more so than what you would think would be normal. She wouldn't listen. Like you would pick her up and hold her, and there was like no emotional response. Like there was very little emotional response there. It just like the physical connection.
It was a disconnect.
Was missing because she didn't get all of that skin on skin contact, that constant attention that babies need when they're first born. So that emotional connection that a child builds with their caregiver.
She missed out on.
She missed out on that for the first 4.5 months of her life, and it took a while for her to catch up in that aspect. And you could definitely tell there was a delay in between Wade's development and Lana's development because, and granted, Wade, he is a little genius. He is super smart, and
we're not just saying that because he's our kid.
And we're not, it's. And I also don't want to seem like we're comparing our children to any kind of scale, but you could just tell that there were certain milestones. Like it took Lana longer to learn how to walk. It took Lana longer to learn how to talk. It took her longer to do all sorts of different tasks that Wade picked up on very quickly. Right. And so that was the only, and those are our only 2 kids. So those are our only comparisons.
Right.
So I don't really know if she was delayed or if she was just delayed so more than Wade because Wade was a little bit advanced. Maybe there's both, a little bit of both. But I definitely feel like she definitely lacked in some of those areas just because of the delay in having been in the NICU for so long.
And I remember in that moment, like I was kind of panicking, like, what if she doesn't catch on? What if she doesn't catch up to Wade's speed? And so like all of those fears, and at the end of the day, it didn't matter because
now you look at her and even for the last couple of years, you'd look at her, you couldn't tell there was a difference.
Well, even in size, remember how tiny she was compared to Wade?
Yeah.
And today she
looked like a potato.
They both look like my little baby potatoes.
She's the old man. She had no hair for the first couple months. It took forever for her hair to grow.
I was worried it was never gonna grow.
But now she's got beautiful hair.
She's got your mom's curls, which is so nice to see.
That auburn hair mixed into her brown hair. She's beautiful hair. And the only lasting effect that you can really see on her is her battle scar on her stomach.
And she'll tell you about it too.
Yeah. And aside from that, she's really grown up and she's taller than Wade now. She eats constantly, and which is great, and she does really good.
The only physical what's the word I'm looking for? The only physical effect that she has now is she'll go to the bathroom more than a normal 5-year-old, but nothing compared to the fear of we had to be prepared that she might be coming home with an ostomy bag. That's what they prepared us for. So
if she lost more of her intestines, she would need some special dieting and special food supplements and stuff like that. But luckily she didn't need anything like that. However, when she did come home, because she spent so much time on feeding tubes, she didn't learn how to swallow properly.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she came home and we started bottle feeding her, she was constantly choking on it. And so we actually had to, get with her pediatrician, and she recommended us getting with a therapist that came in, and they actually did
EMS.
Yeah, so it was basically electric stim on the throat muscles that she would do for.
They would put this little patch on her neck, and each little prong on the patch almost shocked the muscle, stimulated.
So she would come in and she would do that, and she would do that once
a week. Once a week. And it was nice because I remember them coming to our home, so it was comfortable for sis. And very quickly, I felt like it wasn't very long after she started doing that, she was able to eat more comfortably on her own.
And we also had to supplement her formula with
thickener. Was it rice?
We also had to supplement her formula with thickener, and that stuff was expensive. And you would get this can, and you'd think, oh, there's a lot in here, and you'd open it up, and there's this big can, and there'd be this little teeny amount on the bottom, and then the little tiny scoop that you pull out, and they're like, when she's done eating, don't pour this down the sink because it'll turn into cement in the sink. And I'm like, what is that doing inside her body? Well, I don't know. Whatever it did, she survived. But it helped. It basically just thickened up the formula, and she was able to handle it better. We also had to get her special formula.
Elecare,
she had to have, basically it was an amino acid based formula that broke down better than milk
for her digestion. But this can was half the size of a normal Enfamil, whatever the other brand, Similac, half the size, double the price, and
impossible to find.
And medically needed. So
that was the other issue during the COVID pandemic, was the resource scarcity. I remember struggling to find the right size diapers, struggling to find wipes of any kind, struggling to find formula that we were using. Sometimes I just have to get random brands of formula for Wade to have, because I couldn't find the one that we normally use.
And I couldn't keep up with pumping enough milk.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. Especially for the twins, it was just way too much. And the delay between the kids coming home, I think, really hurt that. I mean, you were able to pump some in the beginning, which really helped, I think, with Wade and with Lana, because they were able to mix that in and give that to her. But yeah, unfortunately, and those things happen. Not everybody's able to produce enough milk for their kids. That's why we have formula, and it's amazing. And luckily with the Elecare we were able to source a lot of it from our pediatrician.
Yes, I remember that.
She gave us bottles every time we'd go in there. She'd give us a couple bottles, and that really helped out. Because everything was so expensive, and at the time I was working, but Alyssa was not working anymore, so we were really just down to one paycheck, and I wasn't making a lot of money. I wasn't making bad money, but I was making, okay money. And I remember trying to sign up for government assistance just to see if I could get help with the baby stuff. I didn't want, I didn't want to abuse the system. I just needed a little assistance.
Which is what it's there for.
I remember filling out all the paperwork, and I got denied because I literally made $100 too much per paycheck.
Are you kidding me?
Of course.
Like, we're not asking to be on this part. Like, we were just a time where we needed for like a few months.
Just a couple of months until Alyssa's able to get back to work. And no, that didn't happen. So it is what it is. We got through it. But I do remember that was very difficult to have.
Because we thought, this is here. We need it.
Yeah.
That's what it's in place for, and we couldn't even qualify for it. Gotta love it.
And then, the other thing that was difficult during that time was you couldn't go anywhere. A lot of places were shut down. So you couldn't take the kids out to
the park or play dates.
Yeah, we could take them for walks and stuff like that, but we couldn't take them for play dates. We couldn't take them to like Chuck E. Cheese or somewhere like that. A lot of places were closed down. And there were, of course, they were infants. You couldn't really take them to church.
But you get the gist.
Yeah, there weren't a whole lot of play dates and stuff like that going on. So it was difficult. I remember before you had the babies, you had a baby shower scheduled at the church that we were attending at the time, and that got canceled.
Excited for that
because the COVID pandemic happened right then. Like you had a baby shower back here.
Yes, thank God for my family and all of my aunts, like Thea Olivia, Thea Susan, Thea Chris, Thea Linda, who am I missing? Auntie, and Popo, and just like the outpour of love and support from my family. Like, we could not have survived without you guys. And I know we don't live close by, and everyone else I forgot to mention, we don't live close by, but everyone is always checking in. Like, if my family is so supportive that if you needed the shirt off their back, they're going to give it to you.
Yeah.
And it's just, we felt all of the love. We felt the support when you couldn't physically be there with us. So, and if I missed anyone's name, like, just know how much we absolutely love you, how much you guys mean to us and continue to mean to us. And even last night, it was just so sweet because we're here visiting and the twins are hanging out with all the Theas, playing bingo. And it was sweet for us to sit back. We were drinking our beers and just like, this is amazing that what we have, this support, and we couldn't do it without them.
Right. And yeah, they put on a pretty great baby shower for you back here.
Yeah.
And you were supposed to have another one back in the Dallas area, and unfortunately it got canceled, which hurt pretty good because a lot of our friends around the area and some of our other family wanted to come out to that, but they couldn't make it. And we also lost out on a lot of extra presents and stuff at the time because people didn't go to the baby shower, so we didn't get anything.
Yeah.
So some people shipped us stuff, which was nice,
which was really appreciated.
I don't think we got as much out of it. Not that we were trying to, but I make it sound like we missed out. We were fine, but it was just that wasn't fun time to go through that. It was just a weird time.
It was a very weird time.
I remember talking about, my job actually the month before you had the twins. We all got sent home from the office, and I remember us discussing what we were going to do as far as your job went. I remember talking about my job if we were ever going to go back into the office. But I also knew that we wanted to buy a house, and so you had returned to work, and then we had started looking for a house to buy, and we found one, and purchased it, and luckily my job never went back to the office because it was about 45 minutes away, which isn't terrible, but thank goodness I don't have to commute from where we live.
But I was commuting, and oh my gosh.
But you were commuting, and that was no fun.
Yeah.
Having, you know, they were about a year old at that point, and, you know, they were obviously very needy, but you were commuting to work every day, and you'd spend an hour and a half each way. Each way going to work, and I was home a lot. And we went through some difficult times during that time while you were still working at a car dealership at that time.
Yeah.
There's definitely a big rough patch in our marriage, which maybe we'll get into some point, but not the purpose of today's episode. But we were both very actively involved in our children's development, and I think over this past year, we've really decided that, you know, as they're getting ready for school, we also needed to really get them involved with the church, and it's been very important to us to make sure that we're growing them spiritually as we are growing them developmentally and educationally.
Just as we are, we're just as much as students and children with our relationship with God, and the fact that we get to do this together now as a family.
Yeah,
it almost feels like that timing, because, you know, as you mentioned, like when we were there in 2020, our relationship with God was not as strong. It wasn't there like it is today. So now to be taking these steps, taking these strides alongside our children has been amazing. And I feel like that timing was everything.
Yeah, definitely. And as a part of that, I want to share today's Bible verse for this episode. And it is from Proverbs 22:6. And it says, "Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it." It's always been an important verse for me as far as child rearing goes. And when I had kids one day, I mean, this verse is just constantly in my head. I want to teach our children about God and about being a Christian, because even though they may go through struggles, they may have issues later on, they will never turn away from it if they are properly brought up in His Word and in His way. So yeah, that is my little nugget of truth for today's message. And stick around, because we're gonna.
I think it's only fitting that, you know, after all the tears, we end on a happy note.
Yeah.
So I think we should go get the twins.
Yeah.
Well, look at who we have here.
You guys gotta like the video. Press the like button right there. And subscribe. My name is Wade, and I am 5.
Okay, Sissy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Tell us who you are.
I'm 9 and I'm 5 years old because we are twins.
You guys are twins. Wow. So, Daddy, I think we should ask them some questions. We should ask our COVID babies some questions.
Yeah. Lana, what's your favorite color?
Pink and rainbow.
And rainbow? Wait, what's your favorite color?
Red and blue and red.
All right. And how old are you guys?
5.
Are you twins?
Okay, so a little birdie told me that you guys are going to be starting school soon. What grade are you guys going into?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten. Are you guys excited?
Yeah.
You gonna make some new friends?
Yeah. Wait, can you tell me what's your favorite thing to do when you're at home?
Play Minecraft.
Play Minecraft?
With me.
Oh my gosh.
And play Legos and play with Transformers.
And Transformers. What do you guys, when you're not playing games, what else do you like to do?
Do homework.
You do your homework. Do you like to color and read books?
Yeah.
What's your favorite book right now?
My favorite book is Talking on the Phone in the Corner with the Study.
The unicorns and what they study? Oh.
That's cool.
Wade, what's your favorite book right now?
Minecraft.
There's a Minecraft book. Yeah, of course. Everything Minecraft.
Sister, what are we going to do with them? Ay. So what else do you guys... Wait, please sit back, baby.
Do you guys go to church?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like Sunday school?
Mm-hmm.
How much do you guys love Jesus?
I love Jesus. I love Jesus. Wow. I love him. 1,000,000,000 out of 1,000,000,000.
Where do you guys go to church? What's the name of your church?
The Cross Church. Cross Church.
Why do you love your church so much?
Because we want to learn about God in Jesus.
Oh, was it a bug?
Yeah.
It's a fly.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Look it out.
I thought she was just hitting me. Yeah.
Bubba, sit back. Okay, wait. It's your turn to talk. Sit down.
To tell people.
Tell us, Bubba. What do you want to tell our audience?
What are your favorite colors?
No, they want to know about you, Wade. What do you want to tell them about you?
My favorite color is red and blue, and I love Minecraft, and I love my mom and dad, and I also love Nanny and my dog, and I like doing things.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow. Do you want Mommy to get in the shop with you? Okay.
Well,
I don't know.
Is dude your favorite word?
no, Daddy.
Yes, it is. You're always saying dude. We're recording a video, not a video.
Okay, Mommy's gonna close our video out, okay?
What are we thankful for?
God.
Yeah.
And Jesus.
And our family.
And pray for Nanny.
Oh, we're still praying for Nanny.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today on When the World Stopped, Parenting and the Pandemic. I hope you enjoyed our story, which is near and dear to our heart.
We watch this.
Oh. We really enjoyed you guys stopping by with us. Now we are gonna go finish enjoying the 4th of July festivities.
Yay.
And do a birthday celebration for Pop Pop. So we will see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.